So I'm 23. I'm from the UK. I run a faceless YouTube channel called Wi-Fi Uni with 25,000 subscribers, and it makes me around $2,000 a month. And today I want to talk about one of the first decisions I made before I even started the channel, which is why I chose YouTube over every other platform available to me. Because I think the platform decision is one of the most important ones you can make. And most people either don't think about it properly or they just default to whatever platform they personally use the most. And I want to explain the actual reasoning behind why YouTube was the obvious choice for what I was trying to build. Please excuse this AI slop voice. I promise the value in this video is worth it. And I want to start with something that I think is actually quite interesting, which is that if you're watching this video right now, you've already made a choice that tells me something about you. And the choice is that you decided to sit down and watch a long-form video about building a YouTube channel, rather than scrolling through short-form content on TikTok or Instagram. And that choice is not random. It means you're in a different mindset to someone who's passively swiping through a feed. You're here with intent. You came to actually learn something, and you're willing to invest 10 or 15 minutes of focused attention to do it. And that difference in mindset between a long-form YouTube viewer and a short-form social media viewer is basically the entire argument for why I chose YouTube. So keep that in mind as we go through this. So let me start with TikTok, because it's probably the most obvious alternative, and the one people talk about most when they're thinking about where to build an audience online. TikTok is genuinely impressive as a platform. The algorithm is probably the best in the world at getting content in front of the right people, and the growth potential for a new account is faster than YouTube in the early phase. Like, you can post a video on TikTok with 0 followers, and it can get 100,000 views if it hits right. And that doesn't really happen on YouTube, where you're building from scratch. But here's the problem with TikTok as a business model, and it's the same problem with Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, which is that the audience you build on short-form platforms is fundamentally different to the audience you build on long-form YouTube. And that difference has enormous implications for how you can monetize. A short-form audience is in consumption mode. They're swiping, they're passively absorbing content. They're not stopping to think. They're not in a buying mindset. They're just moving from one piece of content to the next. And the attention you get from each viewer is measured in seconds. And that's just not enough time to build the kind of trust that makes someone click a link, sign up for a tool, join a community, or be genuinely receptive to a sponsor integration. And the data backs this up. Like, affiliate link conversion rates on short-form content are significantly lower than on long-form content, because the viewer on TikTok is not in the right headspace to stop scrolling and go and sign up for something. Whereas a viewer who's just watched a 10-minute tutorial about a tool and found it genuinely useful is already halfway to clicking the link in the description. The conversion is almost natural. And this brings me back to you watching this video right now, because you're a perfect example of what a long-form YouTube audience actually is. You made an active choice to watch something long. You've been here for several minutes, you're engaged with the content, you're thinking about it, and if I mentioned a tool in this video that solved a problem you have, you'd probably at least consider clicking the link. And that's exactly why sponsors pay meaningfully more to reach a long-form YouTube audience than a short-form social media audience. The CPM on YouTube for an educational channel in a high-value niche is between $10 and $20 per 1,000 views. And on TikTok, the Creator Fund pays a fraction of that. And the reason for the gap is exactly what I just described. The YouTube viewer is worth more per person to an advertiser because the attention is deeper, the intent is higher, and the trust built through long-form content is something that short-form just can't replicate at the same speed. And sponsors understand this. Like, when a company emails me to do a sponsored integration, they're not just paying for the view count. They're paying for the fact that my audience watched a full video, engaged with the content, and trusts my recommendations enough to actually consider acting on them. And that's a completely different proposition to a 15-second TikTok, where the viewer has already swiped past before the sponsor message has even landed. Now, Instagram is a slightly different conversation, because it's more of a mixed platform with both short and long form. But the fundamental issue with Instagram as a primary platform for building a monetizable audience is that it's optimized for personal brand building. Like, Instagram rewards people who put themselves out there, who share their life, who build a personality that people want to follow. And that's a perfectly valid way to build an audience, but it's not compatible with the faceless model I use. And more importantly, it's not compatible with the kind of educational content that attracts high-value sponsors in the AI and make money online niche. Instagram audiences also tend to be more passive in a different way to TikTok. Like, they're there for inspiration and aspiration and lifestyle content. And while that can be monetized, it's typically through brand deals that are about image and association, rather than genuine product recommendations. And the conversion on affiliate links and tool integrations is lower because the audience isn't there with the same intent as a YouTube viewer who came specifically to learn how to do something. The other thing about YouTube that I think is underrated is permanence. And what I mean by that is a video I posted a year ago is still getting views today, still appearing in search results, still sending people to the channel, still earning from affiliates and the odd sponsor deals. And that's just not true on TikTok or Instagram, where content has a lifespan of a few days at most before it disappears into the feed and nobody sees it again. And the compounding effect of that permanence is massive over time. Like, the back catalog I've built over 2 years of consistent posting is essentially a library of assets that each independently drive traffic and income, and the value of that library grows every time I add to it. Whereas on TikTok, you're essentially starting fresh with every video, because the previous ones aren't working for you anymore. This is why YouTube channels have actual monetary value that you can sell. Like, there are people who buy and sell YouTube channels as assets. And the reason is that the back catalog of videos is a real asset that generates ongoing returns. And that's not something you can say about a TikTok account or an Instagram page in the same way. And the last point I want to make is about the search engine aspect of YouTube, because I think people forget that YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. And what that means is that people are actively going to YouTube to find answers to specific questions. And if your content answers those questions, it gets found by people who are looking for exactly what you made. And that's completely different to social media platforms, where discovery is algorithm-driven and passive. When I make a video about a specific AI tool or a specific method for making money online, people are searching for that topic on YouTube, and my video shows up. And those viewers are coming in with intent. They want to know about this specific thing. And that intent makes them so much more valuable as viewers and as a potential audience than someone who just happened to see my content while scrolling. And that search-driven discovery also means the channel is less dependent on the algorithm in the same way a TikTok or Instagram account is. Because even if YouTube stopped pushing my videos tomorrow, the search traffic would keep bringing people in. And that stability is something that short-form platforms just don't offer. So to wrap it up, I chose YouTube because the audience it builds is fundamentally different to the audience you build on short-form platforms. The attention is deeper, the intent is higher, the trust is stronger, the content is permanent and compounds over time, the search engine aspect drives consistent discovery, and all of those things together create the conditions for the kind of monetization I was trying to build. Sponsors who pay well because the audience converts, affiliates that earn passively from old videos, and a community that people join because they actually trust what I say. And the fact that you're still watching this video right now is probably the best evidence I can give you that the long-form YouTube audience is different, because you chose to be here. You chose to invest this time, and that choice is exactly what makes you valuable to a sponsor, in a way that a passive short-form viewer just isn't. If you want help building something like this, I do have a school community linked in the description. There's direct feedback available depending on which tier you join. No pressure at all. Cheers for watching.